Hello, this is Mrs. Rivera. I'm going to be teaching you today about poetry. Um, Poetry or poems are a different way of writing or reading. They don't look the same as when you read a regular book, and they're really fun to make. So, because there's so many different kinds of poems that you can make. So, we're going to be making a rainbow poem today. And I just wanted to, before we start, show you a bunch of different kinds of poems so that you can get familiar with poetry. Okay? So, why do we read and write about poetry? Well, it can be about anything. There are many kinds of different kinds of poems. It can tell about feelings and senses. Poetry or poems can be funny or serious, and it can be about anything. So they're really fun to make. Okay, there are many different kinds of poems. So over here, this is a concrete poem. They use the picture of a tree. Sometimes we call this a shape poem. I like to call it a shape poem because I think it takes the shape of whatever you want the picture to be. Um, this one is probably a poem about a tree. So they made the whole poem, all the words are in the shape of a tree. And we should be making one of these soon because these are really fun. This one is a cinquain poem, and it tells you what you need to do on each line of the poem. Like on line 3, it says you need action words about what you're writing about, and line 4 says you need to put some feelings about what you're writing about. So there's a little bit of more of rules for this one. This one over here is color poetry. So you choose a color and you describe it, or you list things that are that color, which is kind of what we're doing today with our rainbow poem. So you'll see a little more of that later. But this poem is an example of color poetry. It's called Green. And look what it says. It says green comes from trees standing tall and straight, green as jello, green for St. Patrick's Day. Green is for Christmas. Green is the color of my bedroom. And green is my favorite color. So that whole poem was about one color. Today we're going to do a rainbow poem, so it's going to be about a couple of colors. An acrostic poem you might be familiar with because this kind of poem, you write a word that goes this way, like this one says read. And then for each letter, you have to start a word that begins with that letter. So for example, R is for reading. So we said reading and exploring new worlds. E is for exciting, exciting new conflicts or problems. A is for and, D is for drop. So every word has to begin with the letter so that they can make the word go up and down. So a lot of you have done that one before. And a haiku is another one, and we'll learn about that later. Whoops. Okay. So poems can tell about feelings and senses. So this poem is all about happiness. And it says, happiness is bright yellow, the taste of ripe bananas. Happiness is the smell of new mown hay and a garden of colored flowers. It sounds joyful and laughing. Happiness is fun. And there's another poem about happiness down here, and this one is a little bit different because everybody's poems should look different. Happy is blue like Leland's shirt. Happy looks like a new pair of pants. Happy sounds like wee. Happy smells fruity like bubblegum. Happy tastes sweet like Reese's cups. Happy feels rough like sand at the beach. So this one has feelings and senses. And remember your 5 senses: touch and hear and smell and see and feel, taste. Those are all the senses. They included them here, like what something looks like, what something sounds like, what something smells or tastes or feels like. And this one is all about senses too. This is about popcorn, my favorite snack. This says, I hear the pop, pop, pop. I smell something buttery. I see something white. I feel something soft. I taste something salty. What could it be? It's popcorn. So this one is a fun poem to make because you have somebody, you could even hide your title in the beginning and have somebody guess what you're writing about by using your senses. Okay. Poems can be silly, like you see everybody giggling up here, or serious, like this girl. Poems can have different shapes. So these are shape poems, like the ones like the tree poem that I was showing you. So this one is a poem. It looks like about a rainy day, and it has a shape of an umbrella. And this poem has the shape of a bone, and it's all about puppies because puppies like to eat bones, right? This one is about a whale, and it's the shape of a whale. And this one is about a gingerbread man, and it looks like it's the shape of a gingerbread man. So those are really fun to make too. I prefer to draw these rather than put them on the computer because sometimes it's easier to draw the shape than to type it into a shape like this. Okay. So there's also some serious poems. This one is saying goodbye to their friend, and it's a little bit sad. And this one is for Mother's Day. Roses are red, violets are blue, sugar is sweet, and so are you. How many of you have heard that poem before? That's a very popular one. And so that one is a poem that you might want to put in a card for mom for Mother's Day. And they can be long or they can be short. Poems can also rhyme. Now, remember when we read all of those Dr. Seuss books for Dr. Seuss Week, we noticed that a lot of the words in the book rhymed. Poems can also rhyme. So all of the red words are rhyming words. So listen to this. An apple can taste very nice. Try a bite or a slice. So you see how nice and slice sound the same? If it's red or if it's green, it will taste good if it's clean. My grandma says an apple a day always keeps the doctor away. Now, this is what you're going to be working on today. This is a rainbow poem, okay? This is my rainbow poem, so I should have had my name right here, but I didn't put it yet. These are the colors of the rainbow. And the way that I remember it, and a lot of people remember it, is that we give the rainbow a name, and the name is Roy G. Biv. And if you remember Roy G. Biv, you will remember all the colors in the right order in the rainbow. So R is for red, O is for orange, Y is for yellow, G is for green, B is for blue, and I and V are both kind of like purple, but they're different kinds of purple. So I is for indigo and V is for violet. You see how they're a little bit different? So anyway, you're going to think about a color or something of each color to put in your poem. So this is my poem. Red like a rose. And you see my rose down here? Orange like a popsicle, because popsicles can be orange. Yellow like a banana, and here's my banana. Green like a monster, here's the monster. Blue like a whale, here's the whale. Indigo like a mitten. Okay, now I just picked something purple because it's very hard to find something that's indigo. So if you want to pick two purple for the last ones, that's okay. Violet like a dress, and here's the dress. Okay, so I picked something that was each color, and I put it in my poem, and I put it in my rainbow. Yours is going to look a little bit different, but I will show you what you're going to do next. Now you can try a colored poem. Okay, so, whoop. Uh-oh. What's happening? Sorry, guys.